Hi everyone, this is Z, and in my next few videos I would like to talk to you about physical games by Chip Theory Games called 20 Strong, and specifically their mini-series called Tanglewoods, starting with this Tanglewoods Rose deck. So, if you've been interested in branching out from video gaming into tabletop gaming, then this video is for you, and I believe 20 Strong is a series of games that are both captivating and short enough to help you ease into the whole new gaming medium. Here, I will tell you why I think the game might be for you, or why not, and I will share my personal review of this deck. I will be reviewing the English version of the game. However, I know that it has been translated to several languages, so please check as it might be available in your native language. But before I continue, are you here because you are considering expanding your gaming experience into tabletop gaming? Or perhaps you heard about the 20 Strong games and you are interested in their Tanglewoods mini-series. Either way, please share your answers in the comment section below. And also, if you could, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to help me grow and share my love of video games with even more people. Thank you. So, 20 Strong is a combination tabletop games by Cheap Theory Games that consists of the dice, 20 to be exact, a token with numbers on it, and a deck of cards that will be your scenario for the session. So each deck is a single self-contained scenario following same rules but with some sort of a twist on the mechanics and how the components will be used. The available core boxes come with some scenarios already, and it's either the 20 Strong Sentinels for the first core box, or 20 Strong Tanglewoods Red for the second core box. So in order to be able to play the Rose deck, you would still need one of the core boxes to complete the set. So I have chosen the Tanglewoods mini-series because I am personally in love with its aesthetics and its setting. Each is tied to a classical fairy tale, and I am also captivated by the beautiful art style by Manny Tremblay, which is consistent across the mini-series. So the series consists of 4 single standalone scenarios and 1 additional campaign deck, which allows you to combine red, gold, and white into a campaign mode with additional rewards that transfer between the decks, and ultimately you would face a final boss, the fabled Baba Yaga, in one final showdown. The deck I'm reviewing here, Rose, has been released after the other 4, and as such is not part of the campaign. So each scenario tasks you with defeating a boss or bosses, or in case of Rose, every enemy available in the deck. They also contain cards which are meant to be navigated, so-called the forest, enemies that you will fight, and some items that will help you along the way. The combat, as well as some choices that you will have to do in the scenarios, as well as your stats, so strategy, recovery, and health, will be displayed or done using the dice. And as I said, each scenario comes with its own set of twists to the general rules, each described in this cute and tiny guidebook, rulebook available in each of the decks. So I have chosen Rose specifically as the starting video because I think its mechanics are the simplest to understand, and as such, they make the perfect entrance into the world of tabletop games and the 20 Strong universe, as well as the Tanglewoods mini-series. Rose deck is inspired by base defense games, and in this case, you will have the minions, the enemies, travel through the forest cards to reach your character and ultimately to defeat you. This is the only Tanglewoods deck that doesn't have a boss available in the deck, and you win the scenario by simply removing all of the enemies from the game, either by defeating them or by any other means that you will have available. You have to do it within a limited number of rounds that you will track using the token, and the number of rounds that you have will depend on the difficulty level that you will set up for yourself when setting up the board. And the deck itself, the scenario, is based off Beauty and the Beast fable. So let's get down to it. Is 20 Strong Tanglewoods Rose a game for you? Most importantly, the game is for you if you don't mind randomness affecting your entire experience. You will be drawing cards at random, selecting from a couple of available items, fighting enemies that can summon even more enemies, and then rolling a varying amount of dice in order to do damage, and the dice have varying numbers of hits and misses. And while it makes each playthrough feel different and unique, it also limits on how likely you are to win the scenario, even if you know all of the rules. Sometimes you will feel like the odds are stacked against you, and due to the random nature of the game, they might as well be. The scenario rulebooks provide you with some difficulty options to make the game either a little bit easier or harder for you, but ultimately, the randomness is a huge part of it and its enjoyment, and you can never really get rid of it. The game is for you if you want something shorter that can be played in one sitting. Sure, due to the randomness of the game, it's really hard to tell how exactly long a playthrough will take for you, but let's say it's generally between 30 minutes up to an hour and a half. Some games will be short because you'll be defeated early, and some will drag because the enemies will bring more enemies, you will have a lot of items, and you will continuously balance between being alive and death and struggling to keep yourself alive and wanting to win. Those might really take a bit longer. My longest game lasted for about 2 hours and a half, but I was learning the rules still, so I think that was the reason why it got so long. And the shortest one was like 50 minutes. I died almost immediately. And the game is definitely for you if you want something travel friendly. So all you need to play the game is one of the core boxes and the scenario deck, which can be nested inside the core box. It's perfect for a trip as it doesn't take much space, and hell, I have even traveled with all 4 scenario decks, the combined deck, and a core box, and still was able to squeeze it into my backpack. So in summary, I would recommend the 20 Strong Tanglewoods Rose deck or any of the scenario decks to anyone who is looking for something easy to carry, quick to play, and as a great replacement for mobile browsing, doom scrolling, I guess? I don't know. All you really need is a small amount of space to set the game up, and you're good to go. So the rules aren't overly complicated once you get to know them. And honestly, I already played the game on bigger chairs or couches next to me when I was waiting for my fiancé to get his tattoo. So sure, I had to be a bit creative to set everything up, but if you have some space available, I think it is really easy to figure out how you can place everything to set it up almost anywhere. Okay, moving on to why I think the game might not be for you. So the game is not for you if you can't stand uncertainty and randomness. As I already said, because you will fight by rolling dice, because you'll be drawing cards that were shuffled, even if you master the mechanics and the rules of the deck, there is still enough randomness that you might lose. The feel of the game is unlike the dungeon crawlers, where you go in seemingly knowing what to expect, but because everything is randomly generated, you still don't know exactly. And moving on to point number 2, if winning is your main goal and main source of enjoyment, then I think this is not the game for you. And it can be quite frustrating. The core enjoyment of this type of games comes from the randomness, from overcoming the odds that are thrown against you, and hopefully win it. But it's the journey that matters. The game is not for you if you want strong narrative with branching story paths. The story behind each deck is described in a couple of sentences that are based on popular fables, and that's basically it. In case of the Rose deck, you are one of the characters of your choice that are tasked with defending the cursed lord of the castle from enemies that don't know any better and think that the ruler is a monster. And see, in practice, you pick your hero, you try to defeat the enemies before they reach you, and you win the game if you defeat them, and you lose if you don't. And the game is not for you if you don't want to spend some time learning each of the mechanics behind the scenario, behind the deck you're going to play. There is a general set of rules that is describing how you play the game across all of the scenarios, and additional rulebook or guidebook with each scenario that describes the twists to the formula that you have to familiarize yourself with. But the guidebooks are pretty short, and while now I appreciate the conciseness that they offer because I can quickly find if I need to refer to something, when I was learning the game, I found them to be not enough. So I had to rely on, in case of Rose, YouTube to see how people played it to understand the rules. The other decks in the Tanglewoods series have tutorials, like interactive tutorials, available in the Dice application that I can recommend to you, and they really simplify the learning process quite a bit. But as of the time of recording this video, Rose deck doesn't have one. Don't get me wrong, learning the rules and making mistakes in them can still be quite fun. It was for me. Sometimes you learn that you played the game even harder than was necessary. Sometimes you realized you did something that was making it simpler that wasn't supposed to happen, but nothing stops you from incorporating that kind of a house rule to your rulebook if this is something that you enjoy. So experimentation can lead even to more enjoyment. But as I said, in the case of Rose, there is no dice tutorial that you can follow. You have to learn it on your own. And in my case, I needed YouTube, and this is something that I would recommend for you as well. And finally, the Tanglewoods series might not be for you if you want your game to be complete on its own. Sure, each of the deck consists a standalone scenario, but you still need one core box in order to be able to play it, because they have the dice and they have the tokens that are necessary. And the game only comes with 2 scenarios with the deck cores, as I already said. So in order to play Rose, you need additional core box or one of the core boxes. And the plus is, once you have the core box, you can play any of the 20 strong scenario decks, no matter what part of a mini-series they are. Nonetheless, you have to have this one core box. And honestly, I can't think of any more reason that you might not want to play the game if you're interested in it. So, before I proceed to my review of this particular deck, this particular scenario, let me tell you a little bit of the setup that you go through for this deck. So first, you will select one of the characters. Each deck comes with 5 characters to choose from. Here you have a Blue Fairy, the Beauty, the Beast, but you can also use any of the so-called universal heroes. They come with this kind of a magical symbol icon on them, and they are available across other scenarios as well. So those heroes with this icon can be used no matter which scenario you are playing, but other heroes are usually not meant or not able to utilize a different scenario fully. In case of Tanglewoods, the Rose scenario can also be played by all of the heroes available in the Baba Yaga campaign. So even though the Rose deck is not part of it, the heroes there are universal to the entire Tanglewoods set. And to be fair, the Baba Yaga campaign heroes are a bit of an easy mode because they have some additional mechanics that I believe make the game a little bit easier. They are interesting to learn, but I find the characters in the Baba Yaga campaign to be my favorites. Then you proceed to set up the board where you take the forest cards and you line them up in 4 columns of 3 rows, A, B, C, D. Then you shuffle your item deck that you'll be able to buy if you defeat an enemy that allows you to go to shop. The shop offers additional upgrades, and then you'll start deploying the enemies, so putting the enemies on specific lanes according to the rulebook. And if you defeat an enemy, it will either transfer into gold, or it might give you a bonus action or become a sort of an item that will ease your experience, make it easier for you. So defeating them is something that is beneficial for you. And that's it. So now for my personal review of the Rose deck. I quite enjoy it. I think it's one of my favorites when it comes to the Tanglewoods series and 20 Strong in general. I like its simple mechanics. I love its simple victory condition, just get rid of all the enemies. And I like the characters in the deck as well, though I still often play it using the Baba Yaga campaign characters. I love that the enemies can be used for gold or become items that will help you out, and different enemies give you different items, so the mechanics of having items really become quite interesting here. As with all the other 20 Strong decks, I really love how compact it is. I love that I can just grab a deck and a core box, toss it into my purse or backpack, and just take it with me wherever I go. And if I know I will have to spend a little bit more time waiting, then I love that I can just set it up almost anywhere. Now, I personally prefer to finish the game in one sitting because I am not that great at remembering what I was doing if I have some time away from it. However, I believe that if you are competent in this sort of packing of things mid-play, then this game would be quite easy for you to do so. And I really love the aesthetics of the series. The Tanglewoods art really speaks to me. I love fairy tales. I love those fable-like dreamy vibes that it has. The art is fantastic. I adore it. And I also enjoy the quality of the cards themselves and the dice. The dice look beautiful. For me, they haven't chipped so far, so I say they are pretty durable. And the PCV, I think, the plastic cards here, they don't require any sleeving, which is a huge bonus for me because I am not good at shuffling cards, and when they are sleeved, that makes it so much worse for me. I will drop them half of the time I will be shuffling them. So, so having them unsleeved and still durable and resistant to like water damage and stuff like that is a huge plus for me, especially for the price that the game comes in. So easy to clean up, really nice to touch, easy to shuffle, and beautifully engraved. So I love it. The presentation is something that really drew me in. One personal complaint that I would have is the rulebook, which is hard to understand on its own. As I said, I played using the dice tutorial for the other decks. For Rose, there isn't one, so I had to learn from YouTube because I couldn't figure it out how to set up properly, how to play it properly from what's available in the deck alone. And that definitely is something detrimental to the experience outside. Now, I appreciate the conciseness of it, but I would appreciate like even additional PDF file that you can download from the website Sure, at this time and age, everything is available on YouTube, so I was able to learn it quite easily. Nonetheless, I don't know, I still think there should be a more comprehensive guide to it for the beginners that want to learn it from what's available to them when they buy the game. So I do hope that you found this video helpful in any way, and I hope I'll see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye. Look at my cat. The three initial decks, red, gold, and white,